Hello beautiful people, we are back at my favorite local skate park, MLK skate park. Today I really want to learn or relearn how to do backside airs on transition about this size, something bigger. So in this video we're going to be explaining the backside air process. I'm going to hopefully relearn how to grab Mellon grab backside air. So I do a lot of backside airs where I'm grabbing the nose. That's like my common comfortable thing. And ironically, when I was younger I knew how to grab a Mellon grab like behind the foot backside, but I couldn't grab nose grab. Now it's like reverse. I can't grab Mellon, but I can grab nose grab. So before we go into the Mellon grabs and sort of my process, and hopefully I can learn it on this session and give you a little bit of a behind the scene progression sort of insight, I'm also going to explain the nose grab backside air, because that is a really fun trick. I made a video about how to backside air before with the nose grab, but I'm going to go over some of the fundamentals, some of the basics, some of the things that I wish people told me when I was trying to learn backside air, because it took me so long. Like, this is a trick that took me probably like more than 3 years. Don't expect to go to the skate park and learn it right away, but it's definitely something that you can continue to work on. And this is like one of those tricks where like every time you go, there's little things that you can do to improve them and to eventually get into the backside air. And that's what we're going to dive into, as well as hopefully getting a Mellon grab backside air, something I haven't done in probably like 4 or 5 years, honestly. One thing that's going to be a big advantage to learning this trick and kind of the process of it is actually my knee pads. And if you don't know how to knee slide, don't know anything about knee pads, that's okay. I wasn't very familiar with it either, but I made a video up here, I'll link it above, with what knee pads to buy and how to actually knee slide. And this is one of those things that most skaters don't want to hear. However, I do think this is going to really catapult you into learning the backside air and get you more comfortable with trying it and getting your toes wet to actually attempting it, because it's hard to halfway step with this one. So if you don't have knee pads, you're either belling or you're going for it. With knee pads, it kind of allows you to inch to that line a little bit closer so you can kind of merge that gap. So like recently, I learned how to invert. So thankful I can do them now. Hopefully I'll get one on this session. But the point is, like, I would have never really gone for the invert or attempted it had I not gotten comfortable with just knee sliding. It took a long time for me to make that my reflex. I still tend to run out more than I knee slide, but I'm trying to get more comfortable and more prone to just reacting and going straight to my knees, because I think that'll also help me skate for a much longer time. So before I start trying the scary backside air that I'm not really comfortable with, this is the Mellon grab. I'm used to grabbing behind the nose. I will say the helpful tip for that I wish somebody told me is starting to kick turn, just backside kick turn. Sorry dude, my bad. Just in here talking while you're trying to skate, my bad. I'll be right out of here.
Don't worry about it.
Sorry about that. When you're doing backside kick turn, just grabbing your nose like right at the top, and then slowly as you're going up, grabbing your nose and trying to lift ever so slightly. And the higher you get up, on the steeper the transition back here, like for example, the higher you see, the more vertical the wall is. So once you grab that nose and you start turning, you can almost early grab, like grabbing and turning gets you used to that motion, then eventually kind of lifting in the air. That will get you comfortable with it, then doing backside airs higher and higher and higher. This is something that takes a lot of time. It's not gonna happen overnight. So with that said, hopefully that can give you a little bit of insight how to do the backside nose grab air. Let me try some Mellon grabs. So I'm really scared of grabbing Mellon and just going for it. I think I'm going too high though. I'm like trying to Mellon grab the same height that I do backside airs, which is something that took me years and years, like I was saying, to get to where I am now. So I'm gonna try to do a little bit of a lower Mellon grab, just some kind of Mellon grab, just different than my normal nose grab. Even if it's like at coping, I'm not mad about it, because then eventually I'll get more comfortable with like going higher and higher and higher. So the goal now is just to try to land one. Even if it's really low, I'll be happy with that. So hopefully I'll stick one in the next couple of seconds. All right, I gotta go to the next one. Next one's it. Oh, that's horrible. Delete that. Delete that from your memory. Take that. I am by no means super stoked on that one. I feel like I went to flat, grabbed it a little early. However, that was good for my confidence, got my confidence up. So I'm gonna try a few more that give me that satisfaction I'm looking for. But either way, it's progression for the next session. I don't want to forget the most important thing about backside airs or learning backside airs in my process was utilizing your hips, because it allows you to get your confidence. Essentially, you're just riding on the side of the bowl, just kind of on the side of the transition. You're able to get a little bit of air way under the coping. Like you can start catching air way down here, which is really nice. And then as you go up the hip, as you see, it gets sharper the farther you get up. So eventually you kind of launch off that sharp part of the transition and then land on the other bank or the other transition. The idea here is just to get comfortable with that. And then eventually you can start grabbing it. So you can start really low, just getting your wheels off the transition using the hip, and then eventually you're just going forward and you're reaching down and you're grabbing. You don't want to reach too far. Remember, you want to bring that board up to your hand. But the idea with this is just gets you used to that motion of just kind of crunching your body up into a little bit of ball, grabbing that board and going forward. It's much like a launch ramp. I've used this metaphor before. It's basically a launch ramp, like you're going straight forward and off it, although the only difference is that you're going sideways. So it's like a straightforward launch ramp on the side of the transition. So hips are a really good way to get your confidence for backside airs. I will say I learned them on hips, figured them out, even like bonking off the coping, because the cool part about a hip is you can bonk off that coping and go to the side. So you're not too worried about hanging up, where on a straight wall, like the wall behind me, back over there, or over here, I forgot there's a wall behind me over here, you have to go more straight up and down, and that's gonna be a big sort of advantage. Yesterday is when I was actually just learning these backside airs, and I went home and looked at the footage, and I realized on the clips where I'm going more straight up and down, my backside airs were a lot better. So with the hip, that's the thing you don't have to worry about. You just go straight up, grab that board, and you can land pretty low and flat, and it's totally fine. Just gets you comfortable with that motion. This are really nice. So you can go off this high area and land in this low area. You don't have to worry about hanging up, which is really cool. So if you could find something like this at a skate park where you can launch off this and go down here, it's gonna be kind of a helpful thing for just getting comfortable with it. It's not gonna allow you to figure out that hang up factor or the hang time factor, but it's just gonna allow you to get comfortable with landing something and rolling off the side. So this is a nice, real good hip for a good example. It's higher, so you're gonna launch off here, you're gonna land lower. You're not gonna be worrying too much about hanging up unless you're pressing out. So hips are super, super, super helpful way to kind of catapult you into backside airs without having to fully commit and do them. Woo! I almost just hung up on that last backside air where I grabbed it a little bit later. I wanted to kind of get that higher air, but man, that was scary almost hanging up. So maybe I'll make a follow-up video on doing grassers or just doing better backside airs with a Mellon grab. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you're not already. See y'all on the next one, mash. This isn't my trash, but I'm gonna pick it up and throw it away. Because you wanna keep your skate park clean, that's what you do.